Yeah, if you go to shop,
Yeah.
and press on categories, does it drop down?
No, it will not show up at the moment.
Yeah.
The way we have
And
coded, yeah,
and if you go to pages, there's or login and registration there. No, cart and checkout there below there, but they don't drop down.
yeah, because now overflow hidden at the moment here. You know that if we go to the home page, then you'll
Homepage.
see that this actually covers all the area
Yeah.
from here up until here. So what should we do in this case is that we should have two category component, where one will take the whole space and another one will be a kind of floating category, a category list like that.
Right.
So yeah, so now if we come here, then it will not work like this. We have to change the CSS and the structure of this page if we want to see the categories in other pages.
Yeah. How do we do that?
Yeah, that's should be a little bit tricky here, as this is already built. I mean, this has been already built in a way, not considering our development environment.
Sure.
So still, we will try to achieve that functionality. Let's see how we can do that. So here we are showing it, show menu, which is home, shop details, pages. This is for mobile actually, so we will leave that. As I can see, this is the categories, so
Yeah.
categories, and this is actually collapsing. So what we are doing, we are actually making it hidden.
Yes.
In the when we are going to another page. So if I make it like block, then we will be back to the same old problem that we had. So we are in shop page, but we still have this full categories
Yeah.
taking up all the spaces, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we have to do is that we have to change the change the the position of this whole div, so that it becomes a floating div. Instead of taking up all the spaces, it becomes the floating div. So one way I can think of to achieve this behavior is that making it fixed, or making it absolute. I think absolute will be better here, absolute. And if we make it absolute, then we have to make the parent container a relative class. If we go back, then as we can see that now it's up, but this area doesn't have any background color. That is why it's showing on top of the other things below it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we would like to do is that we would like to give it a kind of background color. So you can give it like WYSIWYG here. And if we go back, then as you can see that it
Right.
actually applied a background color here, some kind of background color. And then what we want to do is that we want to click it to see what happens. It's actually going top for some reason. Let me see, where is this class? We have show categories here, and show categories is visible when the okay. So what we have to do is that we have to make this categories div a clickable one.
Yes.
It's already clickable, but we have to add some logic in order to hide it.
Yes.
And then again show it like that. So we will find that particular text, which is this one, as I can see. So this is a tag. That's the problem. That is why it was actually taking us to the top.
Yes.
So we won't do that. We will actually in a tag, if you would like to add a click event, then you have to do like this. After doing this, you have to add a modifier. This is called the modifier in Nuxt. You have to add this modifier, which is native, and this means that it will actually replicate a native click behavior. Instead of redirecting us to somewhere else, it will actually achieve the native click behavior that we normally see in other elements.
Sure.
You understand?
Yes.
So show categories now is going to be not show categories, but there's the problem with it. The problem is, no, there's no problem with it. I thought that this is a computed property, but it is not. It's actually a data property, so we can actually easily change it. So what we are doing is that if it is false, then we are making it true, and if it is true, then we are making it false, like that. I hope that this will allow us to hide this area. So if we click it now, it's still behaving like earlier. So we will refresh it, then click it. Okay, the thing is that we still have this href. That href is also getting triggered in this case. Okay, I think we have to change this element from a to a button element.
Okay.
In that case, we don't have to use this native modifier anymore. The native modifier was not behaving. So categories is actually working, but in a different way.
Yeah, it's better than what it was. Yeah, it's still, yeah.
So this whole div is still appearing. So now it's false, and now it's true. Okay. Then we have to find where this area is in this component. This is the mobile part, so we don't have to worry about it. And this part contains all the categories.
Yeah.
And above that, we have another div where it is written dresses, men's dresses, and this is another thing. This is not related to our thing. If we go here, then we have eShop. This is so what we wanted. This blog.
That's it. Yeah.
This is what we want to.
Yeah. But it should be
actually,
clickable.
yeah. When we are clicking, then this div is actually coming back. We don't want to do that. We want to keep it like this.
Yeah.
So we have to find out that div and then make it hidden. You know. So
That's a carousel.
yeah, that's a carousel. And we have to find it in the header. It's not here. So the next page. It starts with quality products. So quality product. No, this is actually home page. This is the shop page. We have to go to the shop page. It starts with our shop. So this is the place it starts. That means the top part is in another location. So we go to header component again. Let's try to find it.
It is in the nav bar.
we were at the navbar, I was not able to locate the carousel here.
I'm
So we have
surprised.
another, yeah, I found it. So this is the show categories. So if show
Yeah.
categories is true, then it's actually triggering this. Okay, so that's the problem. Okay, so I think we will be able to solve this problem now efficiently and very quickly. What we have to do is that if we are not at the home page, then we have to keep it hidden,
Yes.
this area hidden. So we will not use show categories here. We will actually create another computer property which will tell that if it is home page or not.
Okay.
So at the moment, I think it will be gone. It still takes that empty area. So we have to also hide that empty area as well. I think which starts from here, if I'm not wrong. So we will go back to the parent div, put it here, see if it removes that. No, that empty area, that empty div is another one. Okay, let me inspect this and find which div it is. Then it will be easier for us to hide that div. So it's row border top Vuex Excel5. This is the div. Inside that, this is the div. This is the container. Yes, ID nav vertical. This height is the problem for us. If we cut it for the moment, to test it, we will actually bring it back later. Then refresh this page. We still have that full div. So this 410 pixel. There is another height somewhere. This area.
Yes. I've lost your audio. Are you talking?
No, no, I'm not copying. I'm
Okay.
actually trying to figure out. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how we can achieve this functionality. Show categories in class. We have put absolute class, and we have put the relative this space. This is the button that we have figured in. This is the div that we have put in our context. Show categories. Put two.
Ah, ah,
It worked, but there is still a problem, which is if we go back to our home page. So if we go to the home page, then we'll see that this is gone. So the top part is not visible at the moment. So we have to be a little bit more creative. Yeah. So what we have to do is that there are a few things that we have to take care. First is this carousel. And if we go to this carousel, then we put something here. Carousel, put a hidden class in the carousel as far as I remember. That would be if statement. We put something like is home page. Yeah, found it. Is home page, and then we put it in top bar. This should not be there. So we have it back. This menu is back in the home page. So in the carousel, if we put it, and the carousel put it down. Yeah, the carousel is gone. Yeah, now we can achieve this functionality easily. So what we have to do is that this carousel div, we will tell Nuxt that only show it if we are on home page. Otherwise,
yes.
don't show it. So we are going to create this computed property right now. So in the computed property, this will be actually very similar to the path computed property. So we will just check that if this $route dot path is equal to slash or not. If it is slash, that means it is home page. So if you come back, as you can see that it came back.
Yes. Ah, fantastic.
Yeah, and if you go to shop, then it's
Yes.
as you want it.
Oh my God. Yes.
So it should have been a lot easier than what we did so far if we build these pages ourselves,
Yes.
So the HTML, CSS, if we built it ourselves, keeping in mind that we have to achieve this kind of functionality, then we could do it a lot better, in a lot simpler way. But here,
Yes.
actually, this is a pre-built template, so we have to figure out how we have to achieve that functionality. So it
Yes.
took a little bit time.
Yes. So if you just go recap it, what we've done.
Yeah, of course. So first, let's worry about this carousel. So this is the carousel div, as you can
Yes.
see that the header carousel starts there. So if we are on home page, then we want to make sure that, this div doesn't go away.
Yes.
So earlier, what we were doing before today's class, what we were doing is that we were seeing that whether show category is visible or not, and then we were hiding it.
Yes.
So show category now gets triggered with this button click,
Yes.
So that means that if I make show category false like this, then this will also go away.
Yes.
And we don't want that functionality. That is why we have actually made this div dependent on another computed property instead of show category.
Yes.
So we have created that computed property is home page, and then we told Nuxt that if this home page is the home page, actual home page, which is slash, then you will show this div, otherwise you will hide this div.
Yes.
So that's how we have achieved this part. So if we go to shop, then this is not slash anymore. So that is why that div is gone. But if we go to home page, then we have actually slash here, an invisible slash here. That's why we are seeing this div.
Yes.
Okay, and the earlier part is almost as it was before. So what we have done is that we want to show this div, this area. That's why we are not hiding it. Instead of, what we are doing is that in this category click, this category button click, we are triggering show category value. So show categories is becoming true if it is false, and it is becoming false if it is true.
Yes.
So this is happening when we are clicking this categories button.
Yeah.
And depending on that value, we are telling this area that you should go away if it is false. So here we have told that if it is show category is false, then you put this hidden class, otherwise bring back the class.
Yeah.
Like that. And we have made this whole area absolute position. That is why it's actually floating. So everything below it is actually normally moving around, and it's actually floated here. Like that. So this is actually how we have achieved this functionality. So it's a little bit complicated in this scenario, but it could have been a lot easier if at the beginning we knew that we have to achieve this kind of functionality. Then we would write our HTML, our components in such a way.
Fantastic. I've been honestly, every day I've spent an hour or two trying to learn how to do it. But no, like you say, it was complicated. So yes.
Yeah, it's totally normal. I mean, if you are a beginner in Nuxt, you are still, just started learning and didn't actually pass enough time or enough phases of learning yet, then this is actually very complicated job for a beginner level Nuxt developer.
But I've understood.
So actually,
what you've shown me, I've understood, because I've been learning all week.
Yeah. So that's the thing that you will understand after you see how it's done. So as you progress, as you progress more, as you will practice more and more, one day it will come when you will not need anyone's help, but you will be able to achieve this kind of functionality alone.
Still a long way away. Right.
No, I hope that very soon that day will come.
Right. Modules.
Yeah. So we will talk about now a few modules, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you wanted to learn about sitemap module.
Sitemap, robots, Google
Analytics, Nuxt,
and TinyMCE. Okay, let's start with TinyMCE, and then we go to the.
Okay, I have no idea what it is, but I'm sure that I will be able to I will be able to implement it. So no problem at all. Let's actually search with TinyMCE Nuxt. How to use TinyMCE Nuxt? We have a link. So this is actually good for both you and me, because now you will see that how I, as an experienced Nuxt developer, catch up something which I have never used before. So that's also a kind of important part of learning. So how to use TinyMCE in Nuxt? I want to add this script to my Nuxt code. I'll just throw it into my company's code. This script has to be inside my interface. Like this, always ignore some script. Okay, so TinyMCE, what do you want to do with this thing?
Right.
Yeah.
If you go to the VS Code,
VS Code, okay.
and in pages, you'll see there is at the bottom there is dashboard.
Yeah.
Now that you can only see when you're logged in,
Yeah.
but that area I would like to implement TinyMCE. So you see that P tag and
Yeah.
A tag should be the P tag should be editable when you go live.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. Okay, so
It,
that's the thing about TinyMCE. So you can actually edit your content.
yes,
in your browser.
and insert images as well. Whereas at the present moment, it's only text. So you can't, it's not rich text. You can't edit. It's just plain text.
Understood.
If you create a page, editable page, and then implement it there, because the dashboard may be difficult.
So I already found out what we have to do. As you can see
Right.
that for the Vue.js users, we have to use this module from TinyMCE in order to implement TinyMCE. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to install this module in our project, this third-party module. So we are going to bring in another terminal. And then we say that you want add then this. Okay, so module installation is complete. Now, as you remember, you might remember that we have talked about this several times, that not all the Vue.js modules will work out of the box in Nuxt.js
You need to
because of
create
the server side. Yeah, because of the
Yeah.
server side rendering part.
Yeah.
Especially this module is totally meant to be run on the browser. It has nothing to do with the server, as I can see from the documentation. We have to find a way to run it in the browser only, so that this module doesn't touch the server at all. So I can see the way we can use this here. So my first attempt, yeah.
If you create a new page called TinyMCE or something like that,
Yeah, I will do that.
work on it. Yeah.
Exactly, I'll do that. So my first attempt will be to use the official documentation method. So the thing that they have written here, I will try to do it like this, but I might fail. And if I fail, then I will assume that this is happening only because of the SSR part of Nuxt. And in that case, I will take action to make it work in in SSR environment. So the first thing I will do is that in pages, we will create something like TinyMCE.view. Okay. And then we will bring in a template and a div. And here we can write test for the moment. And we can bring in a script like this, which will be empty for now.
Yes.
Now, if we go to our project and then TinyMCE like this, then TinyMCE is
You have
the
to
button.
run. You have to run yarn dev. Yeah.
To rerun this server. This shouldn't be actually. This should have worked out of the box without running the server again.
Right.
Anyway, sometimes it doesn't work as
Yeah.
expected. Okay, so we
Yes.
have test here, as you can see. So my first attempt will be, as I told you, to use this official way of implementing this module. So we'll go to TinyMCE and we'll replace this with this. So I don't need this name property here.
No.
We just need this component and editor. Now, in order to implement it in our page, we can copy this editor part from here, and then we can inside this div, removing that test, we can apply this, and you can see what appears there. As you can see that it already worked. Yeah, it already worked out of the box. So we didn't have to do anything with the SSR or something like that. So what I can see that this has some options. This has given us some options to modify the look and feel of this editor. So I hope that you are already familiar with this.
I'm familiar with that, so I can feel the.
Yeah.
Can you upload image in there? If let's see if it works. Upload image.
Upload image. What I can guess is that we will have to have some kind of some kind of logics in order to handle the image uploads.
Okay.
So when you are sending it to the server, when you are catching the input from here and you are sending it to the server, then we have to use some logics to handle that input. So let me find out what kind of things we can do with that. So,
I'm surprised you've never used this before.
yeah, no, I haven't used it before. I mean, so far in any project, I didn't need this. I actually needed this kind of behavior, but I mean, this kind of thing, but I used other packages for achieving same functionality, you know. So you have other options available to achieve this same functionality.
If you open an image in a browser, any image, copy and paste it into that and see if it works.
Yeah, we can do that. But what I'm trying to see is that if there is, if we can add an icon here.
Yeah.
So I guess that there is something related to that available. Toolbar value. We also have to actually catch the value. Whatever we will write here, somehow we have to let view know that there are some contents written here that we want to
sure
use. Yeah, so that's the things that I'm trying to find out from the documentation. we have this toolbar and we have to add something for the image. We will come back to this point.
Sure, sure.
Initial value. You can give it some initial value, as I can see. So, for example, if you use this, yeah, initial value, and we give it some kind of value, for example, the test message, and hopefully you will see test message here.
Yeah.
See that it works. Then we have in line 2 model events. We have some change, key, down, blur, focus, paste. Okay. Then output format will be text, but we can make it HTML as well if you would like to. Then plugins, we have so many plugins available. Tag names, toolbar. The toolbar like bold, italic, underline. Lot of other toolbars.
It has to be HTML, so we can. How do we implement HTML?
Okay, if you want to use HTML, then output format, you have to use this one. Output format, you have to tell it that this should be HTML. So like this.
Ah,
then HTML.
okay.
Toolbar, we can see that in the toolbar, we have so many options available, like undo, redo, style sheet, bold, link, image. Okay, so I think that if we write image here, it will bring us the image toolbar. Yes.
Yes.
As you can see, the image is there. And source we can have some.
So you can't upload it. You can just copy link. Yeah.
Ocean. Let's search for ocean.
Yes. Fantastic.
Then
Yeah.
we have toolbar, then NuxtJs script source, on input binding V model. Okay. And we have found this V model, which will actually solve our problem. So if we go there, and now we create a data option, then we can say content, which is empty string at the moment. And if we go here and then use V model content, then whatever we will write in this place, it will come to our V modeled content area. So in order to see that in action, what we can do is that after this editor, we can create a button like button, and we can say submit,
Yeah.
like that, or save.
Yeah.
Save. Here you can say that click on save. So we can come here now, go to methods, create a on save method. We just console log our content. So now we refresh this. This test message like several times, and then we put another test message here, and then we make it bold. Then we make another test message here, and we make it like italic, or like this. Now we click on save. Then we go here, as you can see that in HTML format, we got all the output.
Yeah.
You see?
Yes. Yes.
So it's actually working at the moment. So you can actually now use this content property to do whatever you want to do with this content.
Wonderful. Yeah. Okay. How much time have we? Oh, we've only done half an hour, I think. Am I
Yeah,
right?
we have done. Yeah, happen. No problem. Don't
So,
worry about it. Let's move ahead with another thing if you want.
sitemap, robots, and Google Analytics.
Yeah. So sitemap, as you know already, the purpose of sitemap is to generate a sitemap.xml file in our project. That's the basic purpose of using a sitemap, right?
Yes.
So we have a package in we have a Nuxt module. Actually, I have used sitemap earlier a lot, so I already know what I have to do. We have something called Nuxt sitemap. If you search it, then you'll find this link, sitemap.nuxtjs.org. If you go there and then you go to setup, then all you have to do is you have to install this package, which is Nuxt sitemap. So you will copy it and then you can just install it like this. And then in the modules in Nuxt config.js, you have to add this module. So here we have this module directory. We are already using two modules. We are going to use another one, which is this one, Nuxt site. So basically, this is all you have to do at a minimal level. At a minimum level, if you want to make your sitemap work, then this is all you have to do. Now, how this sitemap will get generated? It will get generated in two ways. If you run yarn build at that time or yarn generate at that time. So yarn build, yarn build is normally ran when we want to deploy in SSR mode. So with server-side rendering support.
Yes.
And yarn generate is used when we want to make it static. Instead of SSR, we want to have a static site. In that case, we will use that yarn generate.
Yes.
Now, there's one important thing about this sitemap module in Nuxt.js, which is you see that all the routes in your all the routes means all the files in your pages directory.
Yes.
So what will happen is that Nuxt sitemap will look for these files.
So it will be be automatic.
It will be automatic and it will include all the files that you have here. For example, this shop, this home page, this dashboard, this. But there is something that will not be included, which is this one. So if you have something dynamic, a dynamic route, that will not be automatically added. You have to tell sitemap what you have to do in order to add those links. For example, this token.view. Maybe I think that you don't want to include this in your sitemap, but there might be many things. For example, this post.
Yes.
Where you would like to add them in your sitemap as well. So in those cases, what will happen is that it will do two things. First is if you go to the configuration, as you can see that you can actually add a sitemap object in your Nuxt config.js. So here anywhere in this file, we can have a sitemap object like this. Okay.
Yes.
So if you make a what it is called a static build, instead of SSR, you want to make a static build, then chances are very high that you will have a generate object like this, or you will have a router object like this. Chances are very high that you will have this, but in SSR mode, this is not required. And then you might have something like this, extend routes.
Yes.
Which is actually a function which returns an array with all the routes. So why we normally have this? Because you know that Nuxt generate normally generates all the you know, all the pages that you have in your project,
Yes, yes.
a HTML file. So
When
this about,
when you're deploying.
yeah, when you're deploying. So if you have a about.view file, this will become a about.html file
Yes.
in your static project. So you don't have any SSR support. So you are actually building a static project for any kind of shared hosting deployment or something like that. So in that case, this will become a about.html. This will become a cart.html. This will become a checkout.html. You get the idea?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is okay. This is totally fine. But in case of this dynamic routes, Nuxt will not know what will be the route. So it cannot generate a HTML file for you.
No.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So this could be anything. This could be XYZ. This could be ABC, anything. So Nuxt has no way to know what this will actually be
Yes.
in the final deployment project,
Sure.
So we use this function to tell Nuxt that we will have this URL, the exit URLs. So here you can actually write hard coded like that. I will have a route like this, posts 1 and then edit, so posts and then this ID is 1 and then edit,
So you
so
don't.
then I will have
Yeah.
a route like this, posts and then ID, then 1 and then you have index. So in case of index, we don't have to add anything. We can write like this. So you can write it. Yeah.
Where has that one come from?
We are assuming that the ID is going to be 1.
Okay.
This underscore ID. This is dynamic part of this URL. That is why you have an underscore here, as you can see. That before that ID, we have an underscore. So we are telling Nuxt that this is a dynamic part of the URL. So we have post and then some dynamic thing and then edit like that.
Okay. And this is only for static sites.
This part is for static site generation. I mean, this can be used for SSR purposes as well. I mean, for some, to achieve some specific functionality in SSR. In general, you don't have to use them, but in static deployment or static site generation, the chances are very high that you will need them. If you have dynamic route, then it's assumable that you are going to need them.
Yeah.
You understand?
So even if it's SSR site,
yeah,
we can use this. It won't affect.
You don't have to use it. I mean, for the website to function, you don't have to use it.
Okay.
You understand me?
Yeah.
The website will function normally if you don't have this.
Even if you use it, if you implement it and then use it as upload as SSR, deploy as SSR, it won't affect the site, will it?
No, it won't affect the site. I mean, this will be unused. So this will remain unused. This will not be used in anything.
Exactly.
Like that.
Yeah.
Only during static site generation, this will be very important. This will become very important, and it will use this information in order to generate your, in order to generate your routes.
Yeah.
So all the routes that you want to use here, it will use that to generate that route.
And URL will be sitemap XML, is it?
Yeah, I'm coming to that part. So why I have introduced this to you? Because the chances are very high that you will have like this. If you go to Nuxt configuration, then you will see that you have something called build and something called generate. Yeah. So if you go to generate, then this generate accepts many parameters, as you can see. So the options let you set up parameter values for every dynamic route in your application that will be transformed into HTML files by Nuxt. So generate is a object where you can pass subfolders, directory, etc., etc., etc. So see more about generate property as this. So here in the generate property, we have something called routes, as you can see. And this routes is an array. And what you can do here is that function which returns a promise. You can have something like this. So I have introduced this method to you because I wanted to show you how you will use it in generate and in your build property. So you have same thing you can use in your build, but you might have something like this generate, where you have routes like this, as you can see like this. So for the moment, we will get rid of this part. Okay. And you focus on this part now only. So the same principle applies here. So when you are running yarn generate, you have to have this array in your config file. Otherwise, these dynamic routes will not be generated.
Sure.
So your static site will not work. Some part of your static site will work, and some part of your static site will not work. So the routes which are hard coded like this, they will work fine, but the dynamic routes will not work in your static sites. So what we normally do, we do like this. We use a function here like this, and then we return an array. Instead of writing the array directly, we return an array. And why we do that? Because here we normally fetch the API, because we also don't know what will be the routes. So the way you have designed this, like this underscore ID, there are some logics which actually calls the API and then get the data from there and then show it, right?
Yeah.
So you will do the exact same thing here. And when you do the API call, after doing that API call, you will get an array of all the objects or all the pages that you want to generate, right?
Yeah.
So you might have an array which will be returned from the API, where you have something like ID 1,
ID. Yeah.
and then ID 2, then ID 3, ID
Yeah.
2, and then ID 3. So the result will be like this. I'm not doing an API call here. I'm just showing you what should be the response. I mean, what kind of response you might get. So this response has come back from API, and what I want to do is that I want to return a dynamic array. So maybe this is result. This is the response I have got. And what I want to do, I want to do res.map method in our array. And then I want to say that return this template string where we have posts slash posts, and then here we are dynamically inserting item.id and then edit. Do you get the idea? What I'm trying to mean?
Sure.
So this is the way we will generate this array and give it to Nuxt. Because we also don't know that how many posts are there. Some chances are very low that we will know it in advance,
No.
So we will have new posts every few days, and we will not know what is the ID of them. So we cannot actually hard code an array of all our pages. That will be actually a foolish idea. So in that case, what we will do is that we will call that API where those data lives, and we will generate that map, generate that array with this kind of approach.
Super.
You understand me?
Yes.
Yeah. So why I am showing you this? I mean, we were actually discussing about sitemap, but now we are actually we have talked a lot about this generate and this routes property, because the reason is, if you have something like this in your setup, in your Nuxt config, then you don't have to do anything here. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
This sitemap, this sitemap will look for this routes property in generate. If it finds something like this, then it will automatically include those dynamic URL in your sitemap file.
Yes.
That is the reason I have explained you this such a long time. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But if you don't have something here, then it is a must that you add them here. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah, for the dynamic routes only. The static routes will automatically get included in sitemap. You don't have to do anything. But if you have some dynamic routes in your project, then you have to add this part either in the sitemap or in the generate. But yeah, but if you have a static site, then chances are very high that you will already have this in your generate object. In that case, you don't have to add it here again,
Yeah. And the
Adding
one
it here will already include all the dynamic routes.
Yeah. So why don't you just add it under sitemap?
No, because you are going to need it in order to generate the HTML files.
Okay.
In order to generate the HTML files when you are building your project, you are going to need this function already. So you don't have to do it twice,
Yeah, but if you just put it in sitemap, it's all right, isn't it? It will create dynamic HTML.
No, it will not create dynamic HTML. It will sitemap is only to create the sitemap.xml file.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so sitemap is nothing related to your build or nothing. It has no relation with your your project or your project build, deployment, this kind of things. It is just here to generate a sitemap.xml file, which will be helpful for your SEO. You understand?
You've explained it clearly.
Yeah, so generate will help you to generate your HTML files, especially for the dynamic routes.
Yeah.
So the point I'm trying to establish here is that if you have already something like this in your setup, then you don't have to do the same thing again in your sitemap object.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So that's the way you actually include sitemap in your project. There's nothing more to discuss about sitemap here.
I tried to do it and I couldn't find XML file. But
you will find the XML file if you now build this project.
Build
so if you build this
deploy.
Project, then in the build folder, there will be a new folder here like build or dist.
Yes.
Like this. In that file, you will find a sitemap.xml. For example, let us try to build one. So we put like generate. We are building a static site for our against our project.
I've enjoyed this thoroughly.
As you can see that a new folder has been created named list, and you already have an error as well because res is not defined. Actually here, from here the error came. So if you wrote it like this, then this error would have gone. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to rerun this command yarn generate. We will discuss more about deployment later in another class.
Yeah.
I'm just showing you that sitemap.xml file. I just want to show you that file. That's all. So host name option is mandatory. Okay, so we have actually missed something in our sitemap object. I was so much involved in explaining you this route thing that I forget to tell you. There are a few things which is mandatory in your configuration apart from these routes. So the thing is this host name property. If you go to this sitemap, the sitemap menu item, then you will see that you have a configuration object. I mean this same configuration object that we have here, the sitemap configuration object. But what kind of values and properties you can put there, that information is available there. And we have already discussed about routes thoroughly. We have already discussed about these routes thoroughly. And one important, very important thing is this host name. So if you don't have this host name, then it will fail, as it has failed for in our case. So in this space, you will put a host name, and then we will say like example.com. Let's put it example.com. So this example, this hostname will be appended to all the routes, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Now if you run and generate one more time,
Done.
so yeah, it's all done. Now if we go to our dist folder, you can see that against all your pages there are some HTML files in the about.html file,
yeah.
then in cart, in contact, all of them. And at the last you have this sitemap.sitemap.html.
I see. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and here you have all the routes that you have defined in your project. So these are the routes that these are the routes that it automatically found in your project. You don't have to do anything for them like that.
So if you add a page or a thing, it will automatically, you don't have to do anything. You just add the page and yeah, okay.
As you can see that this is the location which we told sitemap to add dynamically. So post 1 edit.
Yeah.
You see that, and then post 2 edit, and then post 3 edit. If you go back here, if you remember that we had 3 objects.
Yes.
And it actually generated 3 routes for us in the sitemap XML file as well. So if we go to posts, as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3 posts.
Yeah.
So these routes have been generated for you. I mean, by this generate property when we ran yarn generate command, because we use this function. So that's the way you actually use sitemap effectively. So this was actually advanced course about sitemap, to be honest.
But I'm absorbing it.
Perfect.
How long will robots take?
It will take some time. I mean, the other 3 things we will need some time to explain. I would prefer to do it in another class because I'm feeling a little bit exhausted now after talking too much.
Now, next session will be robots and Google Maps. I'm also learning. That's why I asked you. I'm learning WordPress GraphQL with Nuxt.
Okay.
It's like an API. So if somebody has a WordPress website, that's why I was asking you the other day. How much do you know about WordPress? Because I know.
Well, in order to consume a GraphQL API, you don't need to know WordPress actually. So if you can have a source, by source I mean that some WordPress setup where it is exposing a GraphQL API, I can show you how to consume it in Nuxt.
Yeah, okay, that would be okay. I'll see.
So you will just gather the API endpoints for me, that I have to call this endpoint in order to get the data. Then I will show you that how you can consume those data, those GraphQL data in Nuxt.
Right, which I don't know. I'm just learning things. So I was hoping if you set up a WordPress website, install GraphQL and Nuxt, and then show me just the basics.
That's actually a little bit difficult for me because I have no idea how to set up GraphQL in WordPress.
Right. That's what I'm learning now.
I would love to explore that for you, but at the moment I am a bit tight in my schedule.
No.
It's difficult for me to manage time to learn a new thing at the moment.
I'll tell you, I spoke to 20 people on Fiverr, nobody, only one person said I can teach you WordPress GraphQL, but he didn't know about anything about Nuxt. I was just surprised.
Yeah,
I
I can do it. I mean, if I try, then I'm sure that I will be able to figure it out.
No,
But I don't have the time to try at the moment.
exactly. Exactly. But I've got so many things on my mind. So when something new comes up, I decided Monday or Tuesday, oh, WordPress GraphQL. Let me have a look.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's very good. Yeah.
Have a good week.
Curiosity is something that actually takes us to the highest level, you know.
I'm surprised how much I'm learning. In December, end of December, I only knew WordPress, but now I can.
You have moved to a lot of things. You have learned about a lot of new things.
Yeah.
So congratulations to you.
No. Oh, the other thing I was going to ask you, can I upload this on YouTube?
These videos,
Yeah.
I mean, these sessions.
Yeah.
I would not prefer doing that. Don't take me otherwise.
No.
I have to, because I'm a little bit shy. I'm a little bit introvert type people. I mean, I don't like exposure, you know, that to many people or
I
to a
thought
big
about
audience.
it. I always ask if I could, and I mean, I would edit it so there would be no reference to you. I would edit the videos because they are so good. Your tutoring, honestly, your tutoring is just fantastic, out of this world.
Yeah, I actually thought about creating a YouTube channel a lot. I mean, I was very interested about it, but because of this shyness, I couldn't
I
actually
understand.
do it until now. But I still have it in mind that someday I want to actually create a YouTube channel where I can teach people these things easily, you know.
I've got about 50 tutorials since January. I haven't uploaded. Other people have given me permission, but I wouldn't just upload it without permission, and I would edit it. I wouldn't put anything there. But the reason is
no problem.
But the reason is your tutorials are so clear. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos on Nuxt, and there's not many, and there's only one lady who has done it clearly. The rest are just not the way the language is.
They're not very useful.
The language.
No problem. You can actually mention me. No problem in your videos. There's no problem with it. You can go ahead. I don't have any problem with it.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. I mean, I was just thinking about it because your tutorials are exceptionally good, and it's different.
Thank you.
I'll tell you, it's different. It's different. I am asking you questions, and you are teaching me. There's nothing like that on Nuxt or on any other tutorial. In most of these tutorials, they teach you what they know, and so sort of say, this is what I do, da 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 da. But here, it's like an experiment. I'm conducting. You are conducting. You are a teacher. I'm conducting an experiment. And exactly, and it's teacher. I'm asking you questions, and the way you're explaining. And it will help a lot of people, but I don't know.
Let's see, no problem. You can upload these videos, no problem. We will see how it goes. If you get good response, then you let me know. Then I will seriously think about opening a YouTube channel.
Yeah, certainly. But this way is the best way of showing knowledge. rather
Yeah,
than
yeah.
you sort of saying, I'll teach you, you can do these videos if you want. But these videos, the way you've done it, it's so clear and interactive, you know.
Yeah,
Nothing like that. I've not seen anything like that.
yeah.
It's usually when two people are talking, it's between two experts and they give their opinion about things. And I don't know, I don't really enjoy those sessions.
Okay, I'm
Uh,
very glad that it's helping you, and it's a
no,
pleasure for me.
you can see how excited I get.
Yeah, I'm very happy about that.
Right. I'll speak to you during the week and probably book a session next weekend.
No problem. If you
Uh,
need a session earlier, then let me know. We'll figure out. Huh?
Certainly,
No problem.
certainly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Raj. You have a very nice day.
If you send me the file as well.
Yeah, I will send it right away. No problem.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.